Alright, so this video is a bit different from the others on my channel. In this one, we're going to take a closer look at an anime I want to introduce. Don't worry, I'll write the name in the description so you won't miss it. Let's dive into today's anime. Our story kicks off with Hata dreaming that his idol, Yuka, confesses to him in front of a huge crowd. Just as they're about to kiss, Hata falls out of bed and lands face first in the real world. Then he heads to school with his childhood friend Minori and best buddy Kei. Hata studies at an agricultural school in a rural area. But his mind is on Tokyo and his idol, Ringo. Suddenly they encounter chaos. A cow has escaped from a stable and is running through the street. Minori hands her red shirt to Hata, tells him to wave it to distract the cow, and then makes a run for it. Naturally, the cow charges straight at Hata. Later in class, there's talk of a school survey about future plans. Kei's aiming for college, but Hata wants to attend the same high school as his idol. Minori laughs, saying it's impossible. When it's her turn, Minori says she wants a job, but secretly, she'd prefer to be a housewife, a fact Hata teases her about, leaving her embarrassed. Just then, Yoshida enters the classroom with the very same runaway cow. Hata and Minori immediately question his sanity, but Yoshida just laughs it off, saying it's perfectly fine for the agriculture department. Hata jokes about the cow's meat, and Yoshida seriously tells him the cow's worth 20 million yen, shutting Hata up real quick. Later, Kei and Yoshida argue, but it turns out Kei is the only one who can calm the cow down, and the cow even seems to like him. Just then, their teacher Becky arrives. Becky acts like a child, even though she's 40, which often leaves her students baffled. Becky, overhearing Yoshida's antics, tries to calm the class by telling a sad story. She had gone to a restaurant alone, ordered wine for herself and her imaginary boyfriend, only to remember she didn't even have a boyfriend. This breaks the tension, and the class laughs. While Hata, Minori, and Kei are having lunch, Minori drops a bombshell. Hata's favorite idol has retired. Hata's world feels like it's collapsing. The next morning, Minori and Kei find him lying beside a pillow with his idol's face on it, looking hopeless. He tells them he'd been anonymously sending his idol vegetables, especially big eggplants. They're shocked, and Minori tries to explain how inappropriate this was, but Hata insists he just wanted to make her happy. Minori's embarrassed, tries to explain what she means, but Hata keeps pressing her to clarify. Eventually, she gets frustrated and punches him, while he admits he understood all along and was just teasing her. This makes Minori even angrier, and she calls him by his idol's name, but Hata gets a kick out of it, even though he ends up on the floor from her hit. In class, Becky comes in excitedly, bragging about a new oil she bought for her skin, only to reveal she mistakenly used cooking oil on her whole body. This gets everyone laughing. Then she introduces a new student, Ringo. After class, Hata, Minori, and Kei rush to ask Becky if Ringo is actually Yuka, Hata's idol. Becky confirms it but explains she's retired and has moved into the dorm with them, now living as a regular student. Back in class, Hata's daydreaming about Ringo while the other students try to talk to her and ask if she's really the idol. Ringo gives a cold, robotic response, disappointing everyone. They take her on a tour of the school, but she remains distant and emotionless. Finally, they reach the chicken farm, where Yoshida gives them some chickens, which embarrasses Kei. Yoshida then explains the difference between fertilized and unfertilized eggs. Ringo, completely lost, turns to Hata and asks, "What exactly is Yoshida talking about?" So Hata's super embarrassed and has no idea how to explain all this to innocent little Ringo. He asks Yoshida to handle it, and Yoshida goes straight-faced and says, "You know, unfertilized eggs are what you get when you use rubber." That serious response from Yoshida makes everyone decide Becky should take over explaining sensitive topics to Ringo from now on. The group throws a little welcome party for Ringo, and Minori goes all out cooking tons of food. But when Ringo shows no emotion about it, Minori tells Hata that this girl's impossible to get close to and might ruin their team vibe. She wants Hata to fix things before it gets out of hand. Hata asks Kei for help, which of course earns him a hard kick from Hata himself. Finally, Hata suggests they all play a game to break the ice. Ringo picks King's Game, where the king can give orders to two other players without knowing their numbers. In the first round, Hata is chosen as king. Based on their reactions, he guesses Kei is number 1, Minori is number 3, and Ringo is probably Natu. He orders Natu to feed him, but turns out Natu is Minori. She tells him that she was trying to signal that number 2 was Ringo, not her. The mix-up makes Ringo annoyed, and she snaps the game stick in frustration. In the next round, Hata's king again and, thanks to Kei, points at number 2 and Na3, thinking Minori is Na3. Hata then orders Na3 to stand barefoot on the king's face. Kei and Minori are shocked, and Ringo stands by, curious about how this absurd command will turn out. Finally, Minori happily steps on Hata's face, which leaves Ringo super irritated. Next round, Ringo is king, and with a cold look, she asks Hata what his number is. Annoyed by Minori, he says he's none 1. Ringo, feeling jealous, orders Hata to start calling her by her first name. The next day, Hata wakes up thinking everything was just a weird dream. But when he runs into Ringo in the laundry room, he realizes it was all real. Ringo doesn't know how to use the washing machine and claims clothes should be washed in a river. Hata decides to teach her how to use the machine, and she pulls out some pink clothes, asking how to wash them. Hata, trying to be polite, tells her they need to be hand-washed and even offers to do it for her. Right then, Minori walks in and gives Hata a suspicious look. Ringo quickly defends herself, saying she asked Hata for help. Minori, feeling jealous, claims she's Hata's childhood friend and knows him better. This kicks off a serious rivalry between Ringo and Minori. To calm things down, Hata offers to handle the pink clothes, saying, "You might get them dirty." Minori, still suspicious, hands her own clothes to Hata, who just throws them all in the wash and says he prefers plain white clothes. Suddenly, Kei, Hata's close friend, steps in and suggests they solve the issue with a contest. He sets up a few clothes and they each choose one. Minori picks something cute, but Hata goes for Ringo's pink clothes. They shake on their picks, but then Kei reveals he tricked Hata. Those clothes are his own, while Ringo's real clothes were in Kei's pocket the whole time. Kei's philosophy is that the value of clothes is in not being seen. This deep wisdom from Kei makes Hata and Minori decide to respect the pink clothes from now on. Afterward, Kei decides to keep Ringo's clothes as his own treasure. When Hata protests, Kei shuts him down, saying he has a treasure in his heart now. This makes everyone excited, and they throw a mini-party, but Ringo, totally annoyed, grabs her clothes back and storms off. A few days later, Hata goes to Minori's room and says he needs to talk to her about something important. Minori, thrilled, asks him to come back in an hour so she can get ready. Hata leaves, confused, and when he returns, he finds Minori has decorated her room with a romantic vibe and seriously asks if he wants to take a bath, and Hata, not getting it, says no. And right then Kei shows up, as Hata invited him. Minori, now fuming, tries to hold back her anger. Hata says it's about Ringo, making Minori even more upset. He shows them a concert video of Ringo, pointing out how she used to smile but hasn't smiled even once since she arrived. They all decide to come up with a plan to get her to smile again. Kei tries first with a dark matter comedy bit by pulling down his pants, but Ringo just stares blankly, leaving Kei defeated. Minori tries tickling her, but instead of laughing, Ringo just seems annoyed. Ringo then tickles Minori, who immediately bursts out laughing. Ringo finally confesses to Hata that she's forgotten how to smile because of her past and apologizes before walking away. The next day, they show Ringo a farming project with soil that couldn't produce crops anymore, kind of like how she can't laugh. After 7 years of over-farming, the soil became useless, but they managed to grow tomatoes in one section. Hata tells Ringo that, like the soil, if she tries, she can find her laughter again. Ringo bites into a bitter tomato and finally cracks a smile. Later, Minori makes a feast and everyone eats until they're ready to burst. A few days later, after eating tons, they realize they've all gained weight. Hata jokes they're not just curvy, but actually overweight. Everyone starts teasing each other, but eventually, they work it off. Ringo manages to lose weight easily, knowing how to handle it from her industry experience. Minori, however, takes the longest, only losing weight out of the fear no one would marry her. To teach her a lesson, Hata accidentally sends her picture to his family. On the school roof, Ringo opens up to Hata, saying she loved getting his veggie packages and letters, which surprised Hata since he thought he was sending them anonymously. Ringo reveals she's kept everything with his name on it and even has photos he sent. Hata realizes Minori was behind it and asks her why. She explains that Ringo would have never received them otherwise. Ringo hugs her, saying those letters made her happy back then, and she's glad to finally know who sent them. This shocks Hata, and from that moment, Minori and Ringo become close friends. And that's the end of this wild ride. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to like, share, and comment, and subscribe for more anime recaps. Don't forget to hit the bell, and see you next time.